Right, today I am distilling. So this is the cutting run where I create my actual base rum at 72% alcohol. And I'm also going to be fermenting the next round because I like to do things all at once and make my life really difficult. But I thought I would record it and show you the process. The likelihood is I will forget something later on like I did with the pineapples, but never mind. So first job, I've just filled up my tiny little stills here, 25 litre stills. They're gonna boil some water or get pretty much to like 70, 75 degrees. They're on, they're filled up, they're heating up, good. Then I've got 3 of these barrels, gonna get the other 2 in a minute. And I'm gonna fill these partly with Demerara sugar. Yes, I use Demerara sugar in my rum because not all of the molecules of sugar in molasses will turn into alcohol. So for the rummerati out there, those of you that are gonna cry, piss off, I'm trying to run a business. So cane sugar rolled in molasses, that's all Demerara is, gives me a little bit more alcohol on the fermentation. So yeah, get these with some sugar in it. Then when they're hot, get that in. Once that's in, I make a syrup and then I add my molasses. The hot syrup also makes it really easy to break down the molasses because in this temperature, it is currently just under 16 degrees in here. So the molasses is quite stiff. And then I pump it into a tank and ferment it. So let's see if I can remember to record it all along the way. Right, sugar. Shut up, Luke, get going. Right, so I've got my big scales. Looks like my kids have been playing with this. Right, loads of sugar in the barrel. On the scales, they're on. Happy days, let's go. Beautiful. 3 barrels of sugar, ready to go. Right, let's get my cement mixer. So I literally use a plasterer's mixer to mix all this up, make life easy. So now it's just a case of, see that there, pouring boiling water, great, into these, give it a mix, molasses in. So what I'll do now is I'll just line up my buckets of molasses, make my life easy, get it ready. If I can actually remember to record all this, you'll see just how much bloody hard work goes into this. Each one of these is 25 kilos, just so you know. Right, first batch of water's ready. Good, all over the floor. What a muppet, what an absolute muppet. That is a really good example of why I'm so far behind, because it's really fucking hard to do all of this on your own. And I am gonna have a fucking moan now because I'm just tired of it. I'm tired grafting to pay the government shitloads of money in tax and take nothing home for me because they're fucking assholes. There we go. In the bucket this time. The joys of running a tiny business. And obviously what you can't see on camera is all the PPE I'm wearing. So like heat protective gloves, steel toes, probably face mask, all that bollocks. It just doesn't show up on camera, that's all. Especially when I pick up a big vat of boiling water. All PPE, all PPE. Oh, mama. Here's another one of these. Right, let's get this mixed. The reason I get it going in the tanks first, or in the barrels, and then I pump it into the tank, is because the hole on the tank is about that big. And you'll see when I pour the molasses, you can't control it. It's an absolute pain in the ass. So, plus to get in there and loosen off everything like this, it's just, I did it the first time and it was a complete shambles. So we do it like this now. Okay, mix this one. Then I'll get the molasses in the first 2 while we wait for the water to boil. Right, molasses. I'll do the first bucket. You can see the plop and then you can go away. I'll concentrate on not making any more silly mistakes. That is what's known as heads. Very alcoholic, very unpleasant. About 750 ml. Can't use that. Bye-bye. Right, back to molasses game. So I'll pour this first one. I'll tell you what, it's actually looking pretty loose. There we go, ready? Watch the splash. There it is. Does my head in. There you go, get a good look at that. Horrible stuff. Basically treacle. Actually, don't particularly like the taste of it. It's a bit liquishy, but maybe it's me, maybe it's the recipe, but it makes some pretty tasty rum. So I give these a good old scrape, just to try and get as much of this out as possible now. And then you'll see later that I add warm water off the still into the buckets, give it a whisk, just to get all of that out. Because all this high value sugar that is going to give our little yeasty fellows something to eat. Okay, molasses is in and mixed. Now it's time to bring in the tank, because I'm going to add all the water slowly but surely off of the still into these, keep mixing it, and then when they're full, pump them in, and then I just keep pumping until I've got all the water I need in here. Then I can add the yeast. So let's have a little tidy up, make it a little bit safer for me to be wandering around here. And what you can't see is I've got all the buckets, empty buckets of molasses that look like this. And now I put them on the scale so I can weigh out exactly the amount of water I need for each one. Got my whisk so I can get all the molasses off, my towel so it stays nice and clean, and in we go. This is literally it. I'm going to stand here now for hours, filling up 15 kilos at a time, which is 15 litres of water. I have my trusty whiteboard, aka a lid, that I'm going to keep track of how many buckets I've put in, because it takes so long I always lose count. Stick that one there. Pop that one on there. Right, whiskey whisk. In we go. Pretty empty. Right. I'm going to use this to try and hose down the edges, get all that off. Right, I'm going to turn you off and I'll come back later. That's it, all water's in. Now it's the all-important data gathering. So I'll take out a little scoop. So I need to check the pH. So this is my pH meter. I'll just sit that there so it stands up nicely. Then I've got a refractometer and a hydrometer. This normally measures alcohol, this measures sugar content. They both will measure sugar content. So I am going to take readings from both. Temperature probe, and then my phone, which is linked to a little Bluetooth device in the liquid, that's sending the density and the temperature. Nothing is ever consistent, so I like to just record as much as I can, and then there's always something to kind of look back on. So density, this thing's wonderful. You just take a little syringe full and I fill up the well on the refractometer, and then pump some through this machine, turn those on. They link to my main phone. Okay, so this is saying it's 1.127, which is the gravity. I don't know what those numbers actually represent. I don't need to. Wow, this is number 68 on the fermentation. I'm going to leave the pH just kind of thinking about things. Clear all this away because it's time to sort the yeast out. So I used to use fresh baker's yeast, and now I use a rum-specific dried yeast. That's that. And then they've also made this yeast-specific nutrient, so it just gives it something nice to eat and keeps the yeast healthy and active. So yeah, I'm just going to pull out a load of this. A lot of distilleries will just chuck their yeast in dry, but having been a chef, that doesn't really compute. I like to rehydrate my yeasts. So I am actually, while I do this, I'm going to stick the tank in its spot with the heater in it and just start bringing it back up to where I want it. Oh, she's heavy. Oh, I'll tell you what I haven't done is plug the heater in. And this is just a fish tank heater. John at Goldstone Rum gave me that one. Great tip. Thanks to John. First into the bucket molasses, I'm going to go yeast nutrient. Make it a delicious and nutritious environment. Little by little, whiskey whisk. pH is still coming down. That's mental. Right, yeast. Just let that sit, come back to life a little bit. So you can kind of see it's forming a bit of a foamy layer, which is always good. Right, now it's just a case of pouring this into here without making a mess. Give it a little mix of the old mixing device. That's it. Fermentation 101, super simple, just takes a really long time. I haven't put the pH gear back in. Need it all in there. All that's left for me now is to clean up, try and get it off my hands. Probably lasts about a week, and get ready for the bar tonight. So that's going to sit in there now for about 2 weeks. First week it does most of the action, and then last week it kind of just trickles along. The little device in there is still talking to my phone. And actually, thank you for reminding me, I need to log this one. Cleanup time. Might see you in 2 weeks when I distill it.